Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is November the 8th, and it is, looks like almost 11 here. Um, so this morning, yesterday, one of my videos, the developers actually commented on the videos. They thanked me for the videos that I'm doing, and they made mention about an update that's coming out, which it came out this morning. And one of the big things they mentioned on it is if you notice, I'm actually over at the Rosecrans airport near my hometown. And if you see in my other video that I did, one of my first couple of videos I did, I made mention of it and I showed that there was buildings on the Rosecrans runways. Well, they are finally gone, which is fantastic. I enjoy using this airport here as my training area and my practice area. It's the same airport my dad flew from when he was doing it. So it's nice that these buildings are no longer there. So very much appreciated. Thank you very, very much to the developers for that. But we're going to go ahead and showcase a little bit of the update today. And they made a couple of changes and whatnot. Another one of the big things is it does appear that they've altered the draw distance a little bit. I don't know how or what exactly they did, but it does appear that they have made it to where you can actually see a little further out, and I'll show that as we get up in the air. We're going to head down to the Charles B. Wheeler downtown airport down in Kansas City, because another thing they put on their update information was that they made it work a little bit better in larger cities. Well, Kansas City is a pretty decently sized city with larger buildings, so we're going to kind of see how that works. So, and as we go, we'll kind of keep on discussing some of the other parts of the game and just go for a little flight here. So we'll go ahead and start the plane up. The flaps down here. They did add the ability to change the sound effects volume in the main menu. So at some point, I might do a video on the main menu. I just usually don't, just because sometimes loading the main game, it takes a couple of minutes. It just kind of depends on where you're going and what you're having to load. So I usually just wait till I get in the game. So another reason is because sometimes, even though you've picked an airport, it does kind of kick you straight up into the sky. And other times it kind of like spawns you like, 30, 40 feet above the runway, and then you drop on the runway. So we're going to go ahead and take off, and as you can see, no buildings. Oh, it's so much nicer. Go ahead and get up off the ground here. I'm using the current time of day, but I went ahead and just made the weather clear. I didn't need anything. But look, see, as you can see, it does. I can see a lot farther out right now. And that's nice. That actually makes seeing the runways so much easier. So I do appreciate that. Again, I don't know exactly what they did or how they went about doing it, but hey, it works. Get some altitude here. It does still have some moments where, as you see right there in that white line, that's kind of where the terrain is loading kind of offset. I don't know if that's supposed to be a bit of a hill or if it's, when it's going between two elevations, if it doesn't load as smooth, I guess. But yeah, real quick here, we're going to go, I should go to photo mode real quick, and we'll just kind of look around and see. I can see it's a lot larger. I can see just further out. I don't know if they lightened up the fog area out there or what, but it definitely, I can see, usually before you wouldn't be able to see these things as clear. So that's kind of nice. So we'll go back in here. Some things I'm still hoping come in future updates. A trim setting, some type of a trim wheel or a trim adjustment ability. And definitely the sensitivity setting. And I mainly say that because, let's see if I can get it to do it here. So if I push forward, it's starting to go, but it really doesn't, it takes a bit to register. So as you saw, if I push forward, now it registers. Pull back, now it registers. So, like I said, and as I had my dad in here and he was flying, he said that basically, once I start pulling back on that stick, it should start responding. if I push forward on the stick, it should start responding. The left and the right's not as bad. It's definitely a little bit better than the pitch down and up. But yeah, it needs a little adjustment. Definitely would like to see an ability to apply brakes as opposed to just a parking brake. Parking brake's nice, but it would be nice to be able to apply a parking brake, whether that be another option for the left or the right stick or left stick. Because I know in the main menu you can change between like the collective, you can change to pitch and roll, you can change it to yaw, which both the sticks control the yaw. So if there's way, maybe we could make it to where one, if I pull down on it, it applies brakes to the wheels, so it's a little more controlled stopping. I could do more short field takeoffs, or short field landings, sorry. One of the key changes, though, I am liking is that draw distance. It makes it more immersive. You know, it's not like I'm just seeing this white haze. I'm actually seeing terrain and stuff like that. So that's nice. I will say I do think I found the ceiling of the game, though. The other day I was flying around Mount Ararat, and I got up over the top, which that took a minute, but we made it there. I did not film it, though, just because I did not know how long it was going to take. And but I ended up, when I left the summit of Mount Ararat, actually, I just kept going up and up and up, and I made it to about 17,200 feet before my progress really started to slow down. So I don't know if that is the ceiling or what, but I know that at that point climbing just got a lot slower. So I'm assuming that might have been the ceiling of the game. So, but not bad. 17,200 feet. That was up there. So everything's still looking good in the game. I also noticed that they removed the N number off the tail of the airplane. At one point in time, it read November 550 Sierra Romeo. So I don't know why they took that off. It was kind of nice to have on there. So again, that little bit of immersion. That might be kind of a fun thing to add. This is for the developers. I know that they watch these videos, and I hope that it does help. I hope it does help them when it comes to the things in the game and stuff. They listen. A lot of these things, like the dashboard, the radar, different things like that and stuff. A lot of that came from suggestions from not just me, but other people. So they're listening, and that's awesome, and I thank you for that. But maybe an option to name your plane, you know, like, I don't know how easy that would be to accomplish, but make it to where you can choose your own N number and have it display on the side of the plane or something. So that could be kind of fun. Little added is that, again, little extra touch of immersion there. 41 miles out from the Charles downtown airport in Kansas City. I thought about just going down to the KCI airport. The only problem is it's not as close to the larger buildings. The downtown airport is like right smack dab into that area. So another thing they added to the game is a mission mode. So this morning, like I said, I got up this morning and I got into the game a little bit, flew around a little bit just to see the new update and stuff, and I did play the mission mode. Yeah, the first mission is like it's for the airplane. It's for landing down on I can't remember what the airport's name was, but it's in Japan. So you get into it and it kicks you straight into the air, and you follow these little markers, kind of like these, but not exactly. And you follow the little markers down to the runway, and then you land on the runway and see what kind of a time you can get. I'm assuming the first person to do it was the developer. Mine should be number 2 on there, at least right now, until someone does better. But he got like 4 minutes, 55 seconds. I ended up with like 5 minutes and 9 seconds, I think is what it was. But that's kind of interesting. I kind of like to see where that's going to go. So that'll be interesting. I haven't done the helicopter mission yet. That is like a tour around Manhattan. So I did a little tour around Manhattan in the airplane. I know I haven't actually talked a whole lot about the helicopter in the game. I've played the helicopter. I've flown around with it. It's fun. I have 0 experience flying helicopters of any kind. I mean, I say that as if I have experience flying airplanes. I don't. I know my dad has flown airplanes. I've learned about flying airplanes, and I've flown airplanes in other simulator games. Helicopters, though, I've never been that great at them. So I could not tell you whether or not it's accurate or how it should be or anything like that. If you'd like to see a video of the helicopter in action, comment down below on my video here. And I'll make one. I said I don't have a problem with it. It's fun. I've gotten a little bit of the hang of it. So again, if you're new to my channel, I welcome you. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd appreciate it if you did. Like I said, if you enjoy my videos, let me know. I enjoy playing the game, and I enjoy making the videos about the game. I know it helps the developers see the game in action from someone who's playing its perspective. So if there's anything you'd like to see me fly over or to, destination-wise and stuff, let me know. Another thing I would like to maybe see is, I know in sometimes, like I said, some of these runways, they're not exactly flat. I mean, I know in real life that runways aren't always 100% flat. Some of them might have a slight gradient to it. I feel like this game, when it picks up the terrain, it kind of exaggerates that just a hair. And because it didn't, like I said, sometimes you get runways that kind of want to do this kind of a thing, and it makes it basically impossible to land on. I don't know if there's a way to just make the runways, more flat or level. So I know there's a couple of airports I've tried to play around at. There's one, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's down in like the Virgin Islands area, but it's one of those like really dangerous airports because it's like this one. It's got a slope and everything as you're coming in, and you got to basically go like right over this like a walk area and stuff. Like I've seen videos where people are like ducked right under the plane's wheels and stuff. So, and those, like I said, that I tried to land on that and everything, and I ended up having to kind of give up on that approach just because you get down and the runway is doing kind of this thing. So, but again, not a deal breaker, not by any means. Like I said, I know most of the airports I've flown to and landed at, they're fine. Like I said, some of them are a little on the up and down side of it. I mentioned about the trim setting, and I'll see if I can do it, because obviously, when flying an aircraft, you would set your trim for level flight. Well, if I let go of the stick, depending on my wind, right now, I'm going down. So it's pitching down just a bit. Now, if I had a trim setting, whether it be a trim wheel or a button or something, or a lever like these, maybe in this area down here, that I could kind of grab and move and set as needed, I could adjust that trim for level flight. As my dad was telling me that I should be able to let go of these controls, and assuming that the wind's not pushing me around too bad, I should be able to let go of the controls and it be level flight. So again, just a little thing just little ideas. Definitely having the wider field of view out there, it gives it a sense of realism again. It, like I said, it really kind of feels like you're up there. You can see the terrain in the distance, like you would be able to in real life. I wouldn't mind seeing. I'm assuming that at some point they'll add other planes. Maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing like a little Cessna. That could be kind of cool, or like a little Piper Cherokee or something. Maybe even a twin-engine job. That could be kind of neat. Or like a bush plane. Tail dragger, that could be kind of cool too. I feel like, with as us playing the game and everything, and our support, it's going to allow a game like this to just keep going and keep going. Every day they're taking these games and they're pushing them farther and farther, and so a game like this, it's definitely worth having the support behind it. It's definitely worth having, a good set of developers. And so far, like I said, they're proving that they're enjoying what they're doing. They're enjoying the game. They enjoy the feedback. Closer to North Kansas City here. So this will be about the time we're going to be getting into where the larger buildings of Kansas City are and stuff. So we'll kind of see how those buildings look. And as like I said, in the change log, they mentioned that they upped the performance a little bit to run better with the larger cities. I know in one of my last videos, I flew around New York and it got a little choppy. I'll go ahead and after this video, I'll probably do another video. I'll run through their first airplane mission that they posted on there. See if we can't better my time. Just a minute. Out there. My altitude up here a little bit till we get closer. Another thing I think would be an interesting add or addition to this is, I mean, for anyone who's played and stuff, or if you've seen a couple of my first videos or anything, when you crash, you explode. Like, I mean, into a bunch of pieces. You're a skid mark on the ground at that point. And that's regardless of how you hit the ground. I have attempted like emergency landings and stuff, whether it be a power off landing or say my landing gear malfunctions and won't come down or whatever. So you know, I should be able to come in and land on my belly of the aircraft or whatever. The problem is as soon as you hit the ground, you explode. Which, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Under some circumstances, that's going to happen. But in this case, you know, I mean, if I come skidding on the ground, I should be able to just, you know, coast it down and kind of, you know, on the ground. So that'd be a nice ability to have. You know, whether either completely doing away with the exploding all over the place and just allowing the plane. I know I've seen a couple of videos from like Microsoft Flight Simulator where basically when the airplane hits the ground, it kind of just, it hit the ground and, you know, bounce around and stuff, and it doesn't explode or damage and things like that. So that might be a nice little change. That way, you know, to be able to do that with. Get an idea of my runway conditions here before I land. Didn't realize how close we were getting. Runway looks good. So I say that we're going to be around larger buildings and stuff, but there's like nothing here. Let's try and fly over this area over here first real quick. But sorry, sidetrack. But again, yeah, it'd be nice to be able to, you know, practice, you know, emergency landings or landings without landing gear, or, you know, power off landings and skid to a stop or whatever, kind of thing, you know, without the plane exploding. So, alright, we're getting some of the larger buildings popping up here. There they are. So, this is downtown Kansas City area. We're getting into there now. Run into a building here. So yeah, it definitely doesn't seem as laggy. Granted, I'm not flying over like Manhattan or anything, but they definitely seem to load better. So, and that draw distance just looks good out there. Swing back around here. Rudder pedal, ready to turn. me, I personally hate driving down through like Kansas City and stuff. I just don't like driving in larger cities. But I'll fly them all day long though. Alright, and as you can see with the draw distance, I can make the runway right there. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my flaps down. Drop this down. This allows for a shorter base and a shorter final approach if I need to. Being able to see that runway. Start throttling her back here. Half flaps here. I got plenty of runway. Quite center line, but we're almost there. And there we are. Little bounce. This is where having the brakes would be nice. Start applying them and just slowing the plane down. So, and shut the engine off here. I find that at least once it gets under about 100 knots, I can hit the brakes, and I put a little back pressure on the yoke just to make sure it doesn't tip over too much. It seems to work, so not ideal, but hey, it works. So, and we've stopped. They also went ahead and fixed the bug of it not always refueling at airports. It seems to do it constantly now, which is nice. So really, if a person had the time and the battery power, or you plugged in your headset or whatever, I mean, you could fly across the world and just stop at airports and refuel along the way if you really, really wanted to. That's a lot of time. But so yeah, so that's a short little video showcasing the newest update of the game. The new draw distance is nice. Like I said, I thank you very much for taking the buildings off that runway. And yeah, just developers, keep up the good work on the game. I appreciate it. And I'll have our next video going here shortly. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.